All right, so second to last section we're going to look at this week is 1.2. We're actually going to split 1.2 into two parts. We'll do the first part today, and then we'll do the second part later on. All right, so we'll just kind of look at the first part today. So we're going to use the same properties that we already learned in the first section. Okay, we're just reading that. You don't have to write that down. We learned 4 properties in the first section. Can somebody name one of the properties that we learned? And once you get the first one, they're pretty much all the same. You just change one word. Yeah?
Addition.
The addition.
Property.
A little bit more.
You can add on both sides.
Yep, so the addition property of equality. So that's the first one, which says you can add the same number to both sides. Did somebody tell me the second property? The addition property of equality? Don't remember one of the other ones? Yep.
Subtraction property of quality.
Yep, subtraction property of equality, which says you can subtract the same number from both sides. How about one of the ones we did yesterday? Yeah?
Multiplication. You multiply the same number on both sides.
Alright, so multiplication property of equality says you can multiply each side of the equation by the same number. Is there any kind of little note with that you want to remember? Yep.
You can't multiply by 0.
You can't multiply by zeros. Any number except 0. And what's the last property we learned yesterday? About those?
Just hit myself in the eye with paper.
What's the last property we learned, Lily?
Division.
Division, which says you can do what?
You can divide the properties.
Not properties, you can divide.
The equation.
Okay,
I'm lost.
so we're just going over the properties we learned. We're just reviewing
Yeah,
them.
the division property. Division property. Yeah, okay, I'm sorry.
So each property is exactly the same. You can add the same number to both sides. You can subtract the same number from both sides. You can multiply both sides by the same number. Someone help her out with division? You can, yep,
Divide the same number from both sides.
that's it. You divide both sides by the same number. And now there's a little kind of important thing to remember with that though, just like multiplication. You divide both sides by the same number,
Except 0.
except 0. Okay, you can't divide by 0. Alright, so those are all the properties we use. And remember, you use the addition property when you have a subtraction. You use the subtraction property when you have addition. You always do the opposite. Alright? So we already wrote all this down on Monday. All of the equations, I think all of them are going to have 2 steps. We might do one with 3 steps. But they're definitely all going to have more than one step. Now, even though all the equations we do are going to have more than one step, you may not have every step in every problem. Okay? Because that would make the problems kind of long. So, not every problem has every step. But the very first thing we're going to do is simplify. Okay? You're going to see these 3 letters, S-A-M. S-A-M is going to help you to remember Sam, yeah, it'll help you to remember what steps to do first, right? Some people think PEMDAS. No, you don't use PEMDAS. Okay, you use PEMDAS when you're not solving an equation. When you're solving an equation, the order is a little different. Okay, and you'll see the difference. There's 2 things you have to do under simplify. Okay? I've got example 1 up there, but we're not going to do it yet. We'll come back. We'll do it after. Okay, so first thing you have to do under simplify is distributive property. Okay? I'm not sure any of the problems we get to today are actually going to have distributive property, but that's why you're going to have these guided notes again tomorrow. So we're going to use the same steps again. So I'm giving you all the steps you're going to need for today and tomorrow. So use distributive property. And then the next step, oftentimes you'll see me abbreviated on the board, CLT, combine like terms. Now, combine like terms doesn't mean to start moving stuff from one side to the other. Not yet. Combine like terms means, all right, you've got two terms on the same side that are like terms, we're going to put them together. Kind of like we have in example 1. Okay, example 1 is a problem where you would combine like terms first. Okay, and under simplify, I wrote the steps in the order you would do them. So if you had both distributive property and combined like terms, you do distributive property first. All right, now once we do that, we're ready to start moving stuff from side to side. So the next step is any addition or subtraction. Okay, if there's any adding or subtracting that you need to do to get x by itself, this is where we'll do it. So you're going to identify the number on the same side of the equation, and I'm just going to add in right here with variable.
Why is it so long?
I had extra space there just in case people needed to write something else down. But yeah, you got a little bit of extra space. So identify the number on the same side of the equation with the variable and use the opposite operation. So if you see addition, what's the opposite operation? Julie? Yep, there you go, subtraction. Okay. If you saw subtraction, you would do addition. All right, so that's the first step. Identify the number on the same side of the equation that has the variable, and we're going to use the opposite operation, either adding or subtracting. Now, once we've finished all our adding or subtracting, then our last step is to do any multiplying or dividing. So notice the difference between PEMDAS. In PEMDAS, you always do multiplication before addition and subtraction. When you're solving an equation, you do it after. Multiplication is always the last thing you do, or division. So we've got a few different cases. Okay? First thing you want to do is identify the number with the variable. Okay? And I'll let you guys copy down the first case that could happen. So first case you can have is division. All right? How do you know when to divide? Well, if you have a whole number or a decimal attached to the variable. Right? So if you got something like this, that's a whole number attached to the variable. Okay? If you had a decimal, that'd be something like this. 4.2y equals 18. You would divide by 4.2. Okay, you need a calculator. But the point is you'd still divide. Now, multiply can happen in two cases. If you have a fraction next to the variable, you're going to use the reciprocal. That would be something like 1/2 x equals 14. In order to solve 1/2 x equals 14, I say, okay, identify the number with the variable, 1/2. All right, it's a fraction next to the variable. What does it tell me to do? Multiply both sides of the equation by the reciprocal. And reciprocal just means to do what with the fraction? Flip it.
Sorry.
Yep, nice, just flip it. Now, the last case you can have for multiply is if you have a variable over a number. Okay, that would look like this. X divided by 6 equals 10. If you have a variable over a number, you're going to multiply both sides of the equation by the number. Okay. So divided by a number, you're going to multiply. A fraction in front of the variable, multiply. Whole number or decimal in front of the variable, divide. And as far as steps you're going to need, those are all the steps you're going to need for the problems we do today and the problems we do tomorrow. I think tomorrow is when we get into distributive property. Yes.
Can I go to the bathroom?
Yep, just sign it.
Do I need my,
Agenda, yeah. Yeah, just fill out your agenda, I'll sign it, and then just scan on the computer. Okay, does everybody have those steps? Not yet? All right, I'm gonna leave those up there so people can finish copying those down. Okay, what I'll do is I'll go like this. Actually, you know what?
I can't see that.
Can't see that. So example 1 is already up on the board. So on your guided notes, copy down example 1.
whoa.
Okay. It says 3y plus 7.
3y. Where am I copying this down?
On the back where it says example 1.
Oh.
So you got a box on the back for 6 examples, yeah. All right, so what we do each time we go through a problem, just run through these steps in your head. Okay? Start with simplify. Right? So for this problem, you can see the steps on the board still. Okay, when we get to example 2, if you forget the steps, just look back at your notes. All right, simplify. Do I have any distributive property here? It's a little tricky because we haven't learned distributive property yet, but you might already know it. Does anyone know if we have it?
No.
No? How do you know we don't have any distributive property?
Oh, never mind.
Something's not there.
There's no parentheses.
Yeah, okay? If you had parentheses, okay, and you had something like this, we're not doing this today, but that's a distributive property problem, okay? Distributive property, you gotta have parentheses, okay? All right, so nothing there. Next step, combine like terms. Now we're doing it on the same side of the equal sign. We are not moving things from side to side yet. Okay. Is there any like terms in example 1 on the same side? Yeah, Patriot?
3y negative 5y.
Perfect. 3y, negative 5y. We're going to combine those together. When you combine like terms, you don't use opposite operation. It's like if I just said to you, combine 3 plus 8. You do exactly what I say, 3 plus 8. You don't do opposite, right? You just combine them the way they are. 3y, negative 5y. Negative
2y.
2y, yes. So when we combine like terms, the variable's still there. Unless it combined to 0. Like if you had 3y and negative 3y, then the variable would be gone, because it'd be 0. But we get negative 2y. What else is still on the left-hand side? We just have to bring it down. Yep. Positive 7. Got my equal sign. And what's on the right-hand side that I still have to bring down? How about Sophia? What do I have to bring down on the right?
I don't know.
Not sure. Anyone help her out? What do we have to bring down? Yeah, Princess? Yeah, bring down the negative 9. Perfect. So negative 2y plus 7 equals negative 9. All right. So that counts as our first step. Now we're done simplifying. There's nothing else to do there. What's my next step after simplify? These two operations, I do them together. Yeah, Elizabeth?
Subtract negative, or add 2y to each side.
So we're going to do addition and subtraction. Okay, so I agree. We are going to do something with that. But what we want to do is identify just the number. So just tell me what the number is that's on the same side with the variable. Not the number right next to the variable. Just the number that's all alone. What is it?
7.
It's a plus 7. So now what is the opposite operation of plus 7? Subtract. And what are we going to subtract?
7.
Perfect. Subtract 7. Subtract 7. What cancels out on the left, Blake?
7.
Yep. Plus 7 minus 7. Gone. Now we still have something on the left-hand side. How about Maya? What's still on the left-hand side?
Wait, what?
What's still on the left side?
2y.
Close. Something else that goes with it. Negative 2y. Yep, that sign to the left always goes with the number. Okay, that's it for the left. And James, what about on the right? What's negative 9 minus 7?
Negative 16.
Yep. So you're combining a negative 9 with a negative 7. The way I think of it is negative is like I owe someone money. Well, if I owe someone 9 and then I have another owe someone 7, now I owe them an even bigger amount. Okay, so now I owe them 16. Okay? However you think of it, that's fine. Okay. And how about Aileen? What's my last step? Well, actually, before I ask you that, is there any more adding and subtracting I need to do? No. So we're done with the A step. Now my last step is
Multiply or divide.
right. We got to decide if we multiply or divide. This is how you decide. Look for which case you have, and that'll tell you. Okay. Do you have a whole number with the variable? Do you have a fraction? Or do you have a variable divided by a number? And then you'll go from there. Okay?
Divide.
Yep. And what do you divide by?
You're dividing negative 2 by negative 2y and negative 16.
So we're going to divide each side by negative 2. Yep. And the reason is we had case 1. I didn't call it case 1, but it's the first thing. Whole number attached to the variable. Okay. How about Leilani? What's negative 2 divided by negative 2? Not negative 8. Remember, it's going to cancel out. So it cancels out because it turns into what number?
Positive 8.
No. If it turned into positive 8, we wouldn't be able to draw a line through it like we're going to do in a second. We can draw a line through it because negative 2 divided by negative 2 is
I was
Cancels
in
out.
wrong.
cancels out because you get
Negative 9. Oh, positive 1y.
positive 1y. Exactly. When you divide two things that are the same, they cancel because you get 1. Okay. When you subtract two things that are the same, they cancel because you get what?
0.
0. Little different. Okay, still cancels, but you get 0, not 1. So Lucas said we have 1y. Do I have to write the 1 in front of the y?
No.
No, I don't have to write it. I can just put y. Are you wrong if you put the 1 in front of the y?
No.
No, you can put it, it's fine. But if you don't put it, that's fine too. All right, now the right-hand side. Negative divided by a negative gives me positive. 16 divided by 2.
This one is what I said earlier.
This is what you meant earlier.
Yes.
You get 8.
Wait, where do I write that? Right here?
Yeah, yep, you can put it under example 1. Okay, so any questions on example 1? So that one actually is a little bit harder because it had 3 steps. Combine, then we did subtraction, then we did division. Okay, so I had three steps. But all the steps that we're doing are the same steps we learned Monday and Tuesday. It's just now you're doing maybe multiple steps in the same problem. Okay, so any questions on example 1?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's take a look at example 2. Now the last one said, actually there were no directions, it just said, we'll just say it was solved. Let's do a check on example 2. So we're not going to check everything, all right? But we will check. We'll check a couple of them. All right. So 4y minus 2 equals 14. How about Joe? Can you remind me what were the 3 letters that I said here? You can remember these to know the order.
Combining like terms, so CT.
So not for that one. For the 3 steps we have. That's the one step That's a step under the first step. It's 3 letters.
Addition and subtraction.
That's part of what you said is one of the letters, yep.
Sam.
Sam.
Oh,
S-A-M. If you remember that, it'll tell you what to do first. How about Mackenzie, right? Yeah, what does the S stand for? No, not subtraction. Simplify. Now, what are the 2 things you do under simplify? If you have to. First thing, Kate? That's the second thing. If you have it. There's one thing you have to do first. Elizabeth? Yep, distributive property. If you have it. How about Kayla? Do we have distributive property? No, no distributive property, so skip it. Caden's already said the next thing. Combine like terms. Do I have any like terms?
No.
No, no like terms here. So we go on to the next step. What's the A stand for?
Addition or subtraction.
Yep.
No, it's an A.
So addition or subtraction, either one. Do we have any addition or subtraction you could do here?
Yes.
Yeah, what could I do, James?
Add 2 to both sides.
Exactly. We're going to add 2, add 2. How did you know to add 2? How did you know to add 2?
Because it's the opposite of subtraction.
Exactly. He did the opposite. He saw -2, and he did +2. He just did the opposite. -2 plus 2. It cancels out because you get what?
0.
0. It's gone. How about Jayliana? What's left on the left side?
4Y.
Perfect. 4y. And Blake, how about on the right side?
16.
14 plus 2?
Bad.
Gonna give us 16. Okay, we're done the A step. No more addition or subtraction. How about M? Multiply or divide? Tristan, do I have any multiplying or dividing here?
Yes.
Yeah. What do I have to do?
Multiply 4 at both sides.
Well, when I look at it, I see this is already multiplication, so I want to do the opposite.
Divide.
Yeah, want to divide by,
Divide 4 on both sides.
yeah, we're going to divide by 4 on both sides. 4 divided by 4 cancels out because you get
Y.
1. Yep, 1y. So we just have a y. 16 divided by 4, I did it out for you, get you 4. Now, if this was a test question, would you be done? No. Okay, what I'd do for that, I'd give you half. So if that problem was worth like 10 points, you'd get 5. Right, so the second part instead is to check. Let's copy the problem just off to the side. -2 equals 14. How do you check? What do you have to do? Yep, Lily?
You gotta put 4 in where the Y is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Plug in 4 for y, and let's just do that. Make sure you put parentheses, otherwise it'll just look like 4 times 44. So 4 times 4 -2, and that's the question. Does that come out to 14?
Yes, sir.
What's 4 times 4?
16.
16 minus 2, and what's 16 minus 2?
14.
Perfect. So it works. Remember, if you get a different answer, one of 2 things. You checked it wrong, or you found the wrong answer. Any question on example 2? All right. Why don't you guys take a second on your own and try example 3. Okay. X divided by 5 plus 9 equals 13. So this is the first time we've had one with a division in the variable. So if you get stuck, go back to your guided notes. Look at that case when you're dividing what you have to do to get rid of division. So first thing we have to do here is simplify. Do I have any distributive property?
No.
No parentheses, nope.
No.
Do I have any like terms?
No.
No. So now I'm at the next step, and this is the one some people mixed up. What do you do next? It could be two things.
Get rid of the 9.
You can do addition or subtraction, and this column you do subtraction.
Right, the next step is addition or subtraction. You don't do anything with the divide by 5 yet. Division is the last thing we have to look at, okay? So deal with addition or subtraction first, okay? And in this case, Caden said it was subtraction, and how much did you say to subtract?
You subtract 9 from 9 and 9 from 13.
So subtract 9 from 9, that's gonna cancel out, and then 9 from 13. What do you still have on the left side? This part didn't go anywhere yet. Yep.
X over 5.
We still have x over 5. And 13 minus 9 gives me,
It's no.
how about Lucas?
4.
4, good. All right, now we're ready to deal with the division. Okay, so now we can deal with that. Any question why you had to subtract 9 first? Okay, so how do I deal with x divided by 5? Lily? Do you have a question? No?
Well, she did, but I answered.
Okay. So how do we deal with x divided by 5?
You would multiply 5 to both sides.
Yep. So we've got to divide by 5. We're going to do a times 5 times 5. What happens on the left? Yep.
5 cancels out.
5s are gone. Don't have to deal with those anymore. All we have is x, and 4 times 5 gives us 20. Now, this one, we'll check it. Let's just check it in our head. We're not going to write it out. Let's plug in 20 for x. What's 20 divided by 5? 4. And 4 plus 9?
13.
There you go. So that works. All right, so we've done a couple where we've just had 2 steps. I think we just started with one with 3 steps. Let's try another one that has 3 steps, okay? So this is a solve. We've done a couple checks, so let's just do a solve on this one. Maybe on example 5, we'll do a check. Okay, so it says 9f plus 4 minus 7f equals 8. Okay, so the equations are getting a little bit harder where you can't just look at it and just guess an answer quickly. If you combine like terms, then it makes it a lot easier to solve. All right. So, Julia, do I have any like terms to combine here?
9
Yeah, 9f and what kind of 7f? Negative. Now, I kind of skipped over distributive property because we're not doing that one today. So Blake, what do you get when you combine 9f and negative 7f?
2f
2f, what else?
plus 4 equals 8.
Good.
That's
Okay. So that's your first step, combine like terms. Who can tell me my second step? Without me kind of leading you through it. Sophia? Yeah. Joe? Subtract 4. Perfect.
Use true.
Okay.
Use true.
He saw the plus 4. He did the opposite. Joe, can you keep going? Tell me what you get when you do that out.
You would get 2f equals 4.
2f equals 4. Nice. Now we're down to 1 step. So we started with 3, last step. Anything?
Do you have tissues anywhere?
All I have is the paper towel roll.
You hold.
So you could use that, otherwise that's all I got.
Alrighty.
Patriot?
You could divide 2f by 2 and 4 by 2 and you get f equals 2.
Perfect. Last step,
That's some dumb.
we had 2 times f. We have to undo that by dividing. So f equals 2. Nice job. Now, on the test, make sure you show your work, all right? Because if you show your work, and let's say you accidentally put f equals 3, I'll still give you half credit if you did something right. But if you just put f equals 3 and there's no work to show how you got it, then it's wrong, because I don't know, I can't see any of your work. So make sure you put work so I can give you half credit. All right, I think we got, how many we got left? 2?
Yeah.
2 left, and then, yeah, so you'll definitely have some time to work on homework. Or we can set up the binder if we need to.
Wait,
Okay.
what is
Yep.
Sorry, what if, okay, so in the last one, instead of like combining like terms first, like, what if you got rid of the 4? Like, I got the same answer, but like, is that something that I'd be able to do? Or like, for
So-
different problems, would I get it wrong?
Yeah,
or
so
like that?
sometimes you can change the order a little bit and it still works okay,
But not with all, so
but
just-
not with all.
Okay,
Okay, so if you're not sure when you can and when you can't change the order, I probably would just stick with my order because it'll always work.
okay.
But yes, sometimes you can change the order, and I think we're going to actually do that in example 6. It's kind of a special type of equation where changing the order is helpful. And you'll know, I'll tell you it's a special case. Okay, so we'll do that one together. All right, so example 5, 19w minus 13 minus 6w equals negative 39. Jaden, what would my first step be there?
First step would be to combine all terms.
Yes, good job. So first step is simplify, no distributive property for today. And then you went right to the next thing, which is combine like terms. Can you tell me what my like terms are?
19w and negative 6w.
Right, 19w and negative 6w. The negative goes with the 6. And what do you get if you combine those together?
13.
Perfect. So we got 13w minus 13 equals negative 39. Okay, so just as a reminder, when you combine like terms, you are not doing opposite operation. It's just like me saying 6 plus 2. Just do it, just 6 plus 2. Don't do the opposite. Now, in the next step, we're going to start moving stuff from side to side. How about, let's see, who haven't I called on in a while? How about Kayla? What would be my next step?
You would add 13 to both sides.
Perfect. Add 13. Add 13. That's gone. We still have 13w on the left. Now, how about on the right? We've got to be a little careful. Negative 39 plus 13. Anyone do that without a calculator? Yep.
Negative 26.
Nice job. Negative 26. Now, so far, every problem today, including this one, you've gotten nice answers. Okay, so we're still going to get a nice answer here. Don't think you're wrong if you get a fraction. Okay? You're not necessarily wrong. Last step. 13w divided, 13w equals negative 26. What do I have to divide by? Patriot?
Divide by 13.
Perfect.
Both sides.
And what do you get?
Good question. 2.
Negative
2.
Positive divided by negative? Yep, negative.
I said negative, don't worry.
2.
It just didn't come out.
All right, I'll check. Any questions on that? All right, so last problem we're going to look at is a word problem. Do you guys already have it printed?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my god, we do.
So you've already got this printed.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
What's that? Okay, so it says use the table to find the number of miles that you need to bike on Friday in order to make sure the mean comes out to 5 per day. What does that mean, first of all? What's another word for mean?
Average?
Average. Yep. So this is average.
Average.
How do you find an average? You want to explain to me, because this part kind of assumes you know how to find an average. Yep. Princess? Exactly. So average. If you don't know, write it down. Add up all numbers and divide by how many?
Numbers you added together.
Yep.
Just kidding, I don't know.
Divide by how many you have. Okay, so let's do that here. Let's add up all the miles that we have. Okay, how many miles did we have on Monday? 3.5. Tuesday? 5.5. Wednesday? 0. Took a day off, not feeling so good. Thursday? 5. And Friday?
Unknown.
I don't know.
It's unknown and it's represented as X.
That's right.
Now, if I add those up just like that, is that the average?
No.
No, what did I forget to do? Divide by how many?
5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, if I did that out, would that be the average?
No.
Yeah. If I add them all up and divide by 5,
Yes.
that's the average. So tell me, what do they want me to force the average to come out to?
11.
No, not, where'd you get 11 from?
That's all of them added up. Like,
Oh, no, I had 13.
Wait, no.
Joe, 5 plus 5 equals 10. First time.
Wait, no.
What do they want the average to be? Yep, 5.
8 plus 5 is 13.
All right, so when we solve it, we're going to try to use the steps, but I'm going to have to show you this one has a little bit of a trick to it, and it's kind of a special case. So we'll go through it. Do we have like terms?
Yes.
Yeah, we've got a bunch of like terms up here. Let's see if we can add them up. Okay, if you need a calculator, we could do it. But what's 3.5 plus 5.5?
7. No, 8. 9.
3.5 and 5.5? 9 plus 0, still 9. And what's 9 plus 5? 14. Okay, now, does anyone have an idea of what we're going to do next? I'll give you a hint. Okay, I don't like having the fraction there. So this goes a little out of order from the steps we learned. Adding up everything in the top. So, anyone have an idea how we could get rid of having a fraction? And we'd have to do this on both sides. Same way we would get rid of something like this. Yeah, what could you multiply each side by? 5. That's what you want to do here. Times 5 times 5. What happens to the 5s on the left?
they get divided.
No, not yet.
So what happens to them? Yep.
I don't know.
Well, you could think of it as distributive, but remember, when you have something like this, we multiply each side by 5, and then what happens? It cancels out. The exact same thing happens here. They cancel out. So it's a little bit different, but that's what happens. Okay. What's on the left side now? Okay. 14 plus x. And on the right side, have I done anything to it yet? No. Actually, why don't I just do that out? Instead of writing 5 times 5, what is 5 times 5? It's 25. I mean, you can leave it as 5 times 5 for now if it's helpful, but you got to do it out at some point. And how about Maya? What's my last step?
That was my pencil. I think you would do the minus 14 on both sides.
Minus 14. Minus 14. And can anybody tell me what you get for X? Yep.
11.
Let's.
Wait, maybe.
Well, I didn't say anything yet.
Wait, no, it is 11.
Do you want to change your answer?
No.
No, I wouldn't.
Okay. She really double checked, like,
X is 11 miles.
Per hour. Per hour.
Anybody think where else that would be useful? To like add up a bunch of numbers, have one of them you don't know, but you want the average to come out to something. Where do you think you might use something like that?
Science.
Where? I think you would. People ask me this all the time. And I'm going to tell you, now that I just showed you this, I'm going to say, figure it out yourself. Anyone think when might you deal with an average?
Your grade.
Yeah, your grade. So if you said to me, well, I got an 82, I got a 73, and I got a 79, we have one test left, and I want to make sure I get an 80 for the term. What do I have to get on the last
a
test?
5.
I'll say, well, we learned how to do that. So you could figure out the grade you'd have to get whatever you want to get for the term. Okay, so you could kind of figure your test average out. Your average is a little more complicated because you got homework and that stuff too, but. All right, so any questions on that one? All right, so couple reminders, okay? Keep your guided notes out because you're going to use those for the homework. Binder, okay? If you have one today, I will help you set it up. If not, I'll help you tomorrow, but then that's it. Make sure you check out Google Classroom. Okay, your homework tomorrow night is going to be on there. You need to print it. If you're not signed up for Google Classroom, you will not be able to get your homework.
What if you don't have a printer?
You can print it in the school.
Right now?
We can.
You'll have time at the end of class tomorrow, or you can go to the library to print it.
These things print.
Yep. Yeah, so you'll have to find time between like 7:30 and... Nope. I'll show you how to print if you don't know.
What's last year? Well, I have a printer.
Okay. Yes.
It's Thursday night, not this. For Google Classroom, right?
Yeah, Google Classroom is tomorrow. Tomorrow's homework is on Google Classroom.
And subscribe.
Yep.
I already subscribed.
Okay. Okay, guys, hold on. Not done yet. Stay with me. So what's the one other thing to get bonus points this week? What do you do?
Subscribe.
Subscribe.
Subscribe and comment.
Yep. Don't forget to subscribe.